My name is Jeff Kissinger. I'm president of the Western Michigan chapter of the Project Management Institute. I am a senior project manager in the IT department at Grand Rapids Community College. So I don't teach project management per se, but the best way I connect students where I work with project management is through WMPMI. What I hope for whenever we do this competition is that there's a few people that will come along and just be set on fire by this. It's a labor of love. It's a total volunteer event. The chapter funds everything. And I'll tell you, this competition the way it's done is the only chapter in all of PMI, over 300 chapters throughout the world, that does it the way we do it. There's nobody that comes close.
Though project management in action surely goes back before the construction of the pyramids, PMI was founded in 1969 when NASA, using project management, successfully pulled off a manned lunar landing and return to Earth. As PMI celebrates 50 years, the West Michigan chapter of PMI continues 8 years of academic outreach to colleges and universities by means of a cash prize competition. This PMI chapter brings together junior and senior class university students from the western side of Michigan, from Kalamazoo to Houghton, to compete for the title of the winner of the project.
I'm Coleman from the West Michigan chapter of PMI, and I've been serving the college competition, our chapter managers, for 4 years now. For this year we have 9 teams. They're divided into 3 divisions. So from January until today, they've had 4 deliverables. The team with the accumulated score from each division will move on to the final round. So we'll have 3 teams in the finals this year. I'm very proud of this year's group because the subject matter was ambitious, touching on LEED renovation in a building project on their respective campuses. And all the teams that started this year are here today on our event day of April 8th,
I caught up with the 2 teams from Michigan Technological University as they arrived the day before the event after traveling nearly 10 hours from their Houghton, Michigan campus. Of the 7 schools entering teams, only 2 proposed to have schools of project management. Not all have coursework where the champion is also the project management instructor. MTU proposes to have a school of project management, which excites these 2 teams of students, though they may have graduated before the dream comes into fruition. This makes this school and these teams special and worth following. This video covers how competing in the project helps launch the careers of the next generation of project managers from schools like MTU.
Roger Woods, champion for the Project Management Competition 2019 for Michigan Technological University. Champion means that clarify, manage, and sort of do the logistical aspects of making sure the teams can meet and getting them spaces, getting them resources that they need, staying out of their way, but making sure they're going the right direction. So it's a little bit more of a coaching role than anything else.
Gabriel Haskins. I am the mentor for 2 specific teams, and I'm also the mentor of all the other mentors for all the different teams. The role of a mentor is really interesting because mentoring students is a little bit different than mentoring professionals. So we have to be a little bit more than a regular mentor. You have to kind of be able to educate, support, and allow them to go through the process with the right and the proper information. 2 years ago, we decided that we needed to support also the mentors, because even though they volunteer and a lot of them have done this through their work, most of them never really mentored students into this specific contest. This is a really unusual and very special contest, so there's no other comparison. So we decided that the mentors would need to know, how do we do this? What are the rules? What am I expected to do? What is my role and my responsibility? And what is the role and the responsibility of the mentee, which are the students in this case? We also have a co-mentoring program now. So when we have a new mentor, instead of just putting them into the situation where they have to learn on their own, we put them with a more experienced mentor, and then we follow them and help them. For a mentor, we figure out that it's about 45 hours of from January to April. So that's a pretty heavy commitment. You need to have at least 2 meetings every week with the team. As a professional, it gives you a very good array of PDUs in all kinds of areas so that you can, give back to your community and at the same time get some benefit for you as a professional.
Rachel Thole. I currently work for Denso Manufacturing. Specifically, I'm the advanced process engineer for condenser engineering. I'm currently the mentor for Michigan Tech Team 2, which is Huskies Leading the Way. I'm here supporting my team and making sure everything goes well for the day. I actually just moved to the Michigan area a year ago and came in right as the end of last year's competition. Didn't know anything about it, but I needed some additional PDUs, and I thought this might be a very interesting way to help a team earn some credits. I'm very impressed with the team and their actual amount of knowledge within project management. They asked a lot of really intelligent questions and did very well with forming each of the project deliverables.
Keaton Timms from Denver, Colorado. Over the summer I was interning as a shadow project manager for a construction company, and I enjoyed it. It was kind of hectic, so I liked that, and I liked the whole risk mitigation.
My name's Giselle. I'm on the Extreme Makeover Technician team. Sarah here is on our team. Erica, Skylar, Quinn is our project manager, and Keaton over there is also. I did most of the visual aspects of our presentation, so all of the media, like video and graphics. I get to kind of, the entire experience has been like really opened my eyes a bit to how much work goes into like a project plan, how much detail and like how much land you have to cover in order to actually pull together something cohesive that's going to work.
My name's Connor Green. I'm from Sandusky, Michigan. My team is Huskies Lead the Way. I was the project facilitator and document manager, so we set up a Google Drive, so I was the one that kind of manages all those documents, and I kind of created action items for each deliverable, so I kind of spread out the work a little bit, so we each knew what was expected of us based on what the rubric was, so we just kind of made sure the project flowed smoothly. From past experiences from other teams telling me like how great of an experience it was to be able to get pretty much real world project management experience by creating your own project and project plan. First months were mostly that team forming stage. It was pretty difficult because we got back from our winter break. We had our first skate expected of us and what was required, but we're still trying to get our team bonding experience together. I think after we submitted the first gate and we got the rubric for gate 2, the team was together at that point. We knew what was expected of us. We knew how each worked as far as our working style goes. So I think at that point it really clicked and we've been able to function more as a cohesive unit.
I'm Amanda Vermeer, Lake Rapids, Michigan, and last semester I had the project management class, and I really enjoyed that, so I figured that project management would be a good fit, and it turns out it was.
My name is Hannah Badger. I'm from Canton, Michigan. I think my favorite part and the most motivational part for me was finding the justification for our project. So it was actually coming up with the building that we wanted to renovate for this project. I ended up choosing a building that already had LEED certifications in it, so it was silver level, and we wanted to make it even a higher level of LEED. And that was really inspiring to me because we were already starting with this base and we were able to take it one step further and be a little bit more innovative with how we could use our budget. And the building that we chose, I think, really embodies tech a lot, and that was really exciting for me. We got a tour of it. We got to see all the aspects, so I thought that was really cool.
My name's Quinn Trumbauer. I'm from just outside of Appleton, Wisconsin. It's been really fun actually putting some of the stuff we've been learning throughout school into practice. Again, kind of being on a high-level team and just kind of having the freedom to do what we want for all these gates is really nice. And also getting the scenario, it's like a realistic application of just all these tools that we've been hearing about the PMBOK and hearing about the tools, but we never really dive into them or get to use them a lot in school. The toughest part so far has been really putting material together that apply to what the judges want, and learning the way that they interpret the rubric versus the way we interpret it.
Center is located roughly 100 yards to the east of Michigan Tech's central energy plant. The main boiler in this plant runs at about 85% efficiency. To help reclaim some of this lost waste, a coil will be placed at the top of the boiler, which will heat a water glycol mixture. This mixture will be pumped under the ground to the basement of the GLRC into a plate heat exchanger, which will then in turn heat water to heat the rest of the building.
For time, we will be completing the project by August 17th, 2020, feeling kind of time constraint. And we will be completing the project within a budget of $9,273,000 with a contingency fund of $727,000, making up our total budget of the $10 million donation from our donor. We want to enhance experiential learning in Michigan.
MTU provides a project management curriculum, not a common offering in Michigan universities, to support its business school and supply chain management coursework. This curriculum supports their preparation for the class semester structure of the competition. This differs from many other 1- or 2-day competitions seen around in the project management world.
I'm Amanda Vermeer. I'm Megan Tork. I'm Amanda Sable.
I'm Connor Green. We want to show you how Huskies lead the way.
This will be the agenda that we are covering today, starting off with project charter, project scope, and then project management. Michigan Technological University actually does not have a school of project management, but there are many reasons to have one. Having a LEED certified building is very beneficial, not only for environmental, but also for other parts of the industry and saving billions of dollars. The goal of our team is to provide a gold LEED certified building that will house all students for project management. We chose the Great Lakes Research Center, and we chose this for a few reasons. The first is this building is already Silver LEED compliant. But in addition, it also has interdepartmental collaboration. The GLRC already has many labs that students and faculty work at, and by adding in the addition of the business students, they'll be able to effectively communicate, which will provide for real-world application.
This is a brief look at our key stakeholders. Throughout this entire project, we'll be working closely with the architectural firms and construction contractors, as well as the director of the School of Project Management, to make sure that we achieve optimum stakeholder satisfaction throughout this process. The key beneficiaries of this will be the School of Project Management faculty and students, and this is all made possible through a really generous donation from our anonymous donor of $10 million.
The scope of our project includes 5 major project phases: project management, architectural engineering, pre-construction, construction, and then our project closeout phase. Our project management phase is dedicated to maintaining a focus on the project management standards and practices that are going to allow us to meet all of our project goals successfully. And in our architectural engineering phase, any work that's contributing to architectural plans, drawings, and inspections that need to happen before executing our project plan will take place. Following architectural engineering, we can move on to our pre-construction phase, during which any critical site preparations and material procurements that are needed to start the construction will occur. And then we can move on to actually executing all of our exciting plans in our construction phase.
So what do we want out of this building besides a LEED certified building with sustainable features that Connor and Amanda will talk about shortly? Well, we need classrooms for our students, right? We need classrooms that we want to have movable furniture, collaboration areas. We want state-of-the-art technology to bring virtual students into the classroom.
There are a few highlights of this project that will help the Great Lakes Research Center achieve LEED Gold certification. First, I will talk about the innovative heating and cooling systems that will be installed. Next, I will highlight the automatic building occupancy sensing system. And finally, we will touch on a few additional improvements to the building.
There's also currently fluorescent lights in the building, because when it was built back in 2012, LED lights were really expensive. So now we want to bring in these LED lights that are more cost efficient, they're producing less heat, and they produce more light.
The donation will be dispersed at quarter intervals throughout the life of the project. The amount of the disbursement is going to be dependent on the amount of scope of work at each different quarter. As you can see by this graph, the project will have ample funding from start to finish.
Success of this project is going to be determined based on 6 categories of constraints: scope, time, cost, resources, risk, and quality. For scope, we will be renovating the Great Lakes Research Center to be gold level LEED certified, as well as creating a collaborative learning environment to enhance experiential learning for project management students. I plan on using as many recycled and sustainable building materials as possible, with maintaining a goal of improving energy performance by using more natural lighting and energy efficient office equipment, as well as utilizing that water from the Portage Lake Canal right behind our own campus to cool the building.
Michigan Tech has created the future, and the future is now. Will you join us?
So, a couple of questions. Your heating and cooling systems, what risks have you identified on those systems?
So the initial plan, we looked into creating geothermal. The building is not built on a solid enough ground, and it's too big of a building to use geothermal systems. So we created an innovative way in order to use the coil system. Risk associated with that would obviously be trying to connect from one building to the next. So we'd have to dig a tunnel to layer 2 pipes. So that would be those main risks associated with this system.
Any idea what that would save from a dollar perspective?
So from a dollar perspective, we did not look at that. It's pretty hard to quantify because we have to take a baseline at that level and just to see how much the HVAC system is running when people aren't occupying that. So that would be the first implementation, but we know it is a problem. Because of the many cost savings that this building will provide, the building will be able to incorporate a $2,500 annual budget donation to this community.
And that will be for the foreseeable future, though.
Because of their academic instruction, the presentations of both the MTU teams were chock full of impressive technical details showing off project management competencies. While the judges used during the first 4 gates and the 12 initial weeks of the competition were technical project managers and were keenly tuned into technical competency, the teams would experience a different type of judging in the final round, with the final round judges being local corporate lead building champions with a less technical and a more sponsor-focused perspective about projects.
Hello and welcome. We are Extreme Makeover Tech Edition. This is Sarah Korber, Giselle Eula, Erica Austin, Skylar McCoo, Keaton Timms, and I'm your project manager, Quinn Trumbauer. Today we are going to present to you our renovation for Dillman Hall. We're going to start with our justification, go into a description of our building, talk about our stakeholders, then we're going to go in our timeline and key project deliverables.
For the project justification, we were all tasked with creating the new school of project management. In this new school, we expect about 250 students. In addition to that, our president wants an audacious growth of about 10% over the next 5 years. So with our $11 million budget, we are not only bringing this building up to LEED standard, but we're installing 8 state-of-the-art classrooms, 16 offices, 4 business labs, and 1 large collaboration space.
Due to a 2011 Michigan Tech report showing all the costs for renovating all the buildings on our campuses, with our $11 million budget, Dillman Hall was one of the most cost-effective buildings to renovate.
So here you can see a timeline infographic showing off our project progression, starting in the beginning of 2019 and ending in August 2020. You can see the different phases of our project, what things run parallel with each other. Here you can also see a schedule of our budget disbursement, so our total budget of $11 million will mostly be spent in the middle of the project during the construction phase, and spending will level out towards the end of the project in post-construction and the acceptance phases of our project. Here is just a section of our work breakdown structure. We broke it down to the 3rd level of detail, and that's our smallest work package.
We're going to be moving into the design phase of the project. This is where we're going to be laying out the blueprints of Dillman Hall, how we want those classrooms and offices to look. We're also going to be putting in for the construction permits in this phase. And then we're going to move into the site preparation and demolition. In this phase, we're bringing in LEED dumpsters, tearing out the inside of the building and recycling those materials, and hopefully going to be reusing those in the construction phase of this project. So moving into the construction phase, this is the largest phase of our project and the execution phase. So this is where everything's going to be coming together. We're going to move into post-construction. This is where the building is going to be complete, and we're going to be working towards that LEED certification, B, B, and C, Platinum. And we're going to hand over that new school of project management.
Doing a B, D, and C renovation. We're going to be reaching Platinum status. That's getting 80 points or more in the checklist. Now we're just going to highlight some of our key areas that are impactful to us, starting with energy. We're replacing the whole building with LED fixtures. This will give low draw when lights are in use. We're also going to install individual control pads and motion display sensors. for all the rooms, so when a room's not being used or inactive, those lights can be turned off, therefore not drawing from the power. Next, we're going to move over into air quality and environment. This is largely going to be met with our HVAC system that we're going to install.
The next line is going to show our lead cost reductions. These numbers were actually generated from a lead study that was published in 2011. So we took those numbers from a large renovation project and we applied them to our project. To the next 5-year projections, we can realize about $1.4 million in savings.
So throughout the project, we're planning on meeting with our stakeholders on a weekly basis to communicate the status of the project, how things are going so far, and any problematic areas that might arise. Following completion of the project, we would like to continue an ongoing relationship with our donors.
So now you know about our new building and our new program.
So Michigan Tech School of Project Management, welcome to your new home.
Have you truly approached the university to do a project like this? And do you have these donors? Is this a real thing coming to fruition?
Yeah, the really cool thing right when we got this project and started this is going on at Tech right now.
Okay. Is $11 million enough?
$11 million is enough to renovate a building. It's not enough to build a new building.
Because, our first thing was, that's why we found this, used the other million, because we saw the 10 million initially and like, okay, this is really gonna limit what lead renovations we can do and what technology we can put into it.
The notion that there would be a school of project management, is that part of what the university is working with today in terms of real ideas? And if so, was that inspired by the work that you all are doing with this project? Or is your project inspired by the work that the university is doing with the renovation?
Because it's still very early on in their stages and we had to do this now. And that's why it was really nice visiting with our stakeholders like Dean. But I think throughout the whole thing, we both have been pulling inspiration from both sides of it.
And all of you kind of got back and
that was great. We did great.
answering the question.
put a
And
lot
I
of
loved it when you say, yes, did we answer your question?
Yeah.
That was cool.
We really did. Good job, guys.
You did a very good job.
The only thing is occasionally do school project management instead of school business. We're just kind of trained to do that.
Yeah.
That was it. Otherwise, I was telling Lindy when we came out, you were behind me, you did everything you needed to do.
Yes.
You didn't do everything you planned on doing,
But that's okay.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
They don't.
There was no major.
I don't care.
Yeah.
We're good. So.
Yes.
They
Two of them left.
Cool.
Two of them I saw
The
left.
timer loved it, and the woman in the back row
Yeah,
really
she
liked
was
it.
like sitting beside me.
She thought that was.
Everybody was
And the Grand Valley
smiling.
guys.
We're dancing.
Yeah, that was
That was cool.
With the results of the technical judging in, after the fourth gate presentations, 3 finalists were announced. They had made it into the top 3, with their only competitor now, Grand Valley State University.
We have the 2 teams in the first place. Yay!
The team from MTU that is presenting first is Extreme Makeover Tech Edition.
Today, we're going to present to you our renovation project for Dillman Hall. We're going to start with our justification, go into building description. From there, we're going to talk about our key stakeholders, and then move into our timeline, project deliverables, touch on our main key lead elements, and then we're going to wrap up with our communication plan, and then finally present to you our new project of our School of Project Management.
Okay, so for the project justification, we were all tasked with planning out the new School of Project Management. And for the school, we expected about 250 students. On top of that, our president wants an audacious growth of 10% over the next 5 years. So to accommodate for these 500 students,
we decided to renovate Dillman Hall. Now, choosing Dillman Hall will not only allow the school to be more visible because it's centered on campus and elevate the presence on a tech-focused university, but also allow the students to build more rapport with entrepreneurial clubs, enterprises, and the other STEM fields. So with our $11 million budget, we will not only bring our building up to LEED standard, but also install 8 state-of-the-art classrooms, 16 offices, 4 business labs, and 1 large collaboration space.
Grover C. Dillman is located on Michigan Tech's campus in the Upper Peninsula. The 3 reasons why we chose Grover C. Dillman Hall is 1 is because of its central location. It will become a focal point for the School of Project Management, giving more presence for the current students and also increase visibility for the incoming students that are going to be coming to this new School of Project Management. Another reason why we chose it is the 2011 Michigan Tech report stating the cost to renovate all buildings on campus. Dillman was one of the most cost-effective buildings with an $11 million budget. Lastly, because Grover C. Dillman Hall was built in 1959, it is way overdue for an extreme makeover.
Some of our key sponsors for this project are one being the Dean Johnson, who is pictured here on the left. He's the Dean of the School of Business at Michigan Tech. On the right, we have the President of the University, Richard Kubek. Together, they share a common goal to have this audacious growth within the business school, and part of that being the new School of Project Management.
So here's a schedule of our budget disbursement. So the $11 million that we have will mostly be spent in the middle of the project during the construction phase. And spending will level out towards the end in the post-construction and acceptance phases of the project. So we're currently in the project planning stage of our project here in Gate 4, and we're going to be moving into the design stage next. In this phase, we're going to be drawing up the blueprints of Dillman Hall, laying out where we want those classrooms and offices and collaboration spaces to be.
Now are we going to dive into the LEED checklist a little bit. Like we have mentioned, we are getting Dillman renovated to a LEED ED+C Platinum level certification. That means we are achieving at least 80 points or more in our checklist. Here we're going to highlight some of the elements that we feel are most influential and key to getting us those points. We're going to start here with energy and atmosphere. The biggest things in this category are going to be replacing all of the lighting in the building with LED lights. This will really bring the drawdown of the current lighting and help us save on energy. We're also going to give all rooms their own control panels and motion sensors, so when a room is not being used or has low traffic, lighting can be turned off and they will not be using energy from that. Next section we're going to talk about is the air quality and atmosphere. Now the biggest contributor to this is a new state-of-the-art HVAC system. By implementing HVAC into Dillman, it will allow us to push nice fresh air through all the buildings. We are also going to put individual climate control pads into each room, just like electrical. So no matter what crazy weather Houghton throws at us, each classroom, students and faculty will be able to stay nice and comfortable by changing their room for their needs. Also in this category, you can see there is we're going to push a green initiative through our custodial staff and our maintenance. We're going to use sustainable products in our cleaning and in our maintenance department. These green sustainable products will last a lot longer, therefore have to be replaced less, and ultimately be safer for all students and all faculty.
Shown here on the left is a snippet from our communication matrix. We plan to communicate with our stakeholders on a weekly basis through progress report meetings. These meetings will mostly consist of just updating the stakeholders on how the project is coming along compared to the timeline given, as well as any problematic areas or areas of concern. Following the completion of the project, we would like to have an ongoing relationship with our donors, and to do this, we would like to create a plaque that would honor our donors, and that will be on display in the new School of Project Management at Dillman Hall. We would also like to continue to update the donors on the progress reports of the new school, as well as students and their successes coming out of the new school of project management. Donors would also be invited to come speak to students to share their story and spread the word of the new school.
All right. So as we know, the final goal of this project is to create a new school in project management. 3 of the majors available in the new school will be IT and software project management, general project management, and construction management. Hopefully these will help highlight our exemplary school of business in a more technologically focused university.
All 3 of these majors will be offered in both a master's and bachelor's degree. All the students will learn skills from the PMBOK, like the talent triangle, where they learn leadership, technical skills, and strategic and business management. So now that you know about our new building and our new program,
Michigan Tech School of Project Management, welcome to your new home. Thank you, judges and everyone, for your time. Now we will open the floor for questions.
Just a quick question on some of the financial considerations. You're going to spend $11 million, correct?
yes.
And if you're looking at current operations being roughly $600,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to letting this thing run out on its own, because your return on investment is going to be nearly 20 years.
The main return on investment would just be...
As I listened to the questions posed by the final round judges, I began to realize that the contestants were being judged as if they were selling an idea for a project rather than showing their proficiency in understanding how an already sponsored project is delivered. It's the humanity of the circumstance of a competitive event that all comes down in the final round.
What kind of consideration you had to use Luke to make sure that the design works properly as intended?
Well, our current school of business is one classroom in the chemical engineering building that has all computers. The current Dillman Hall is used for some civil engineering classes, but as the engineering campus in our school keeps expanding, many of those classrooms are actually vacant and being underused. We think a technological push in this building will help create a whole new pool of students that will be occupying the building in the School of Project Management, because the School of Business right now is, as the video said, bursting at the seams. So the final user group would be the project management students.
One of the unique features of the project is that it requires salesmanship not common in a project management professional's workaday life. Projects are handed to them, and then they go about using their knowledge, skill, and competence to make a project a success. The project adds a requirement of marketing competency many of the best geeky engineers and technical experts might feel unnecessary for success.
Also from MTU, Huskies lead the
Located in Michigan's beautiful Upper Peninsula, Michigan Technological University empowers its students to create the future through experiential learning and leadership opportunities. Banked on the shore of the Portage Lake Canal sits the Great Lakes Research Center, or also known as the GLRC. Built on Michigan Tech's campus in 2012, this is used for interdisciplinary research and will be the new home for the new school.
We also want abundant plant life to help promote the flow of oxygen and enhance mood.
There are a few highlights of this project that will help the Great Lakes Research Center achieve LEED Gold level certification.
These various programs will allow us to instill the Michigan Tech values into our students, as well as give them a true tech experience, which is like no other.
Michigan Tech has created the future, and the future is now. Will you join us?
I think it's interesting that you chose a building that was already LEED Silver or was going for LEED Silver and want to take it to the next level. Do you know why it didn't obtain LEED certification and what those barriers are that you're going to have to overcome?
Yeah, so at the time, it was built back in 2012. I think it was officially open for use for the 2012-2013 school year. At the time, they kind of just got to the end and they were like, well, it's good enough, and they didn't want to pay the extra $35,000 to actually get it certified. So we thought that was a really good opportunity for us, the whole work smarter, not harder.
To piggyback off of that a little bit too, we talked to the main person who's in charge of getting like the silver LEED compliant, and he really helped us kind of get to that next level of these new technologies and putting that into the GLRC. So he wanted to bring it farther, it just didn't.
With this building located right across onto the river there, have you had any discussions with any of the local government municipalities regarding waterways and all of our access, because you're tapping into those areas?
We haven't yet, but one of the student groups on campus is currently doing a study about this.
In third place from MTU, we have Extreme Makeover Tech Edition.
In the end, when the Extreme Makeover Tech Edition came out, which had struggled through the technical gates, rallied to having one of the best pre-final presentation scores, the Huskies Lead the Way team were excited at the chance of having first place. Having just witnessed the Grand Valley State University's team presentation showing technical flaws in their project plan, including not having a budget distribution, something that they were taught was unsound, and not funding a fully LEED certified building but just 2 floors. But then they came in second with the home team winning. That's how they saw it.
So again, thank you to everyone for being here, and we look forward to 2020.
So the project 2020 is going to start probably tomorrow. Thinking out scenarios, going through lessons learned and all this stuff, and how we can always improve this competition.
During the lunch break, between the final technical presentation and the final executive round, the keynote speaker and one of the judges, Dr. Doug McNeil, spoke extensively about how motivational skills, a key to project success, could not be taught. The people part of projects can always sully what can seem a simple set of technical tasks. McNeil asked the audience of project managers, students, and sponsors if they'd ever had a project blow up on them, really blow up. He said, with a tone of a voice of someone who really knew, "It will truly affect you. It's a career-altering moment," he said. And those career-altering moments will make you a better project manager. Then the president-elect of the West Michigan chapter created a visual demonstration of the old telephone game, showing how a message can be garbled beyond ridiculous parody, clearly demonstrating how those career-altering moments can occur through a lack of clear communication. I decided not to show the faces of the MTU students after the announcement of first place winner GVSU. As I visited their tables, I heard them openly express that they felt that they should have won first and second because they had the stronger technical performance. What I do want to show is how these young men and women pulled it together and showed professionalism that will earn them respect in the future under similar circumstances. In the end, this competition was part of their 12-week course to learn about the difference between what one learns from a book and how things work in the real world. Remember Jeff Kissinger earlier in the video? He's the president of the West Michigan chapter of PMI, and he stated that he hoped that the project would set students on fire about project management. Well, spending time watching the school champion Roger Woods convinced me that MTU encourages that kind of passion about project management, and a disappointing placement in a cash competition didn't seem to put that fire out even as they processed lessons learned back in the classroom. They experienced a very rewarding, if somewhat exasperating, career-altering moment, and I suspect will go on to become great project managers in whatever occupations they choose.
And Hangouts allowed it because for me, I work better when I have work to do. I go off and I do it, and then I come back together with the team and do it. So it allowed us to, if someone had a question or was unclear about their direction, we could go into have much longer times for a hangout, because you can only really get us together for about 2 hours.
Right.
But we could have a hangout session that's like 6 hours long with people coming in and out as they're able, and it makes a lot more sense. We can still have.
That's really where we got a bulk of our work done. I think if we would have done some more like camaraderie and bonding early in the year, because I feel like
Yeah, we didn't care until like the third date to actually get to know each other.
the more time, and when we did that, and even just over the weekend of the event, I feel like we all got closer to each other.
Okay, what's the outline of this project? Who's gonna be involved? And like a rough, like this is how much money you have, and like a rough estimate of like where the money's been allocated, rough schedule, what it was, and then like day 2 would be more, okay, what is being provided, what work is gonna be done.
Yep.
Hannah was just pointing out that she kind of liked the creativity that came with defining your own scope, and what was actually kind of interesting for our teams, having never seen each other's work, to realize how completely different they approach the problem, but it's the same scenario.
Yes.
That's part of what makes it exact, right?
Because otherwise it's just like
everyone has to have that defined progress.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the points are just gonna come from typos.
Yeah.
I don't want it all laid out.
Yep.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun. I like to get just filling in the blanks at that point. Also, it's partially.
I think of the teams that in line 4, I think they liked that. There's a challenge to that comes with getting the right stakeholders for what you're going to decide to do.
Yep.
Between our 2 teams, essentially had different stakeholders that were important to that situation. So we think that making the charter and gate 1, because they do have an assignment that they're going to reflect on the competition.
Okay, that's good.
In a week and a half.
Okay.
I think I could probably summarize that kind of thing pretty successfully out of that, since it's really more individual.
It is my sincere belief that the founders of the Project Management Institute would look at this competition as an appropriate mix of competence and salesmanship required in today's world of the project manager. They would see how strong project management skills create the baseline resilience required to support those career-altering moments when the project management world is all about competition.